Watch these fastballs coming in hot and heavy. It's 5 until 2. Sports Radio 96.7, 1310 The
Sports
Ticket.
expert.
Dan and Jake. It's a baseball-themed show because we have two pieces of baseball bread. One of them was John Daniels. And in 15 minutes, 1993's Rookie of the Year will be reviewed. Who else gets you ready for baseball season by reviewing that magical season of Henry Rowan-Gardner? But the meat in that baseball sandwich joins us right now on the Buyers Barricade hotline, and he is at Tweet Grubes. Groovy.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
He's imitating Grubes.
It's a good bit. It's Inception or Dancing with Wolves.
So things get rolling Friday night. You and your new gig, you're taking over your childhood dream job of working for the Texas Rangers, being a part of their game day presentation. So just kind of reset for the people who haven't heard, the P1s who haven't heard from you in a little bit, what you'll be doing for the team and for the Gilf this year.
So with the Rangers, I'll be taking over the playing of the music and Ranger games from Chuck Morgan, who's still continuing as the PA voice. And in addition to the music this year, I also get to be the guy playing all the crowd noise because for some reason, fans aren't being allowed into games right now.
What's the deal with that?
I don't know. I'm trying to look it up on the news, but I haven't seen any reason why.
So that's weird that the crowd noise is not being played just on the broadcast, I think.
Like, that's how it was in soccer in Europe, I think.
Like the players didn't hear the crowd noise.
Right.
And now the players are hearing what you're playing?
Right. Like, I think that was talked about, too, of having the TV and radio broadcast separately do their own crowd feed, but just wound up becoming MLB and the Players Association and whoever else decided that having the stadium play the crowd noise made more sense. That way the players could hear it. Because apparently that's one of the things that really kind of drove the idea of it is the players didn't want to play to dead silence, and they didn't want to play with music going the whole time like, say, an NBA game would.
Here, let's play a little of it from the other night. I pulled this off of the internet broadcast.
Franchise history through the first 60 games of the season is 9. There's Solak, and that one squeaks through.
Look, so the crowd...
So Nick Solak with the base hit. He's got 11 hits so far this summer period. That's the most by any Ranger.
Like, that just sounds like a real Ranger game.
Yeah, there's just so many potential... Not to freak you out here, Grubes, but have you considered that...
You hit the wrong thing? Like...
Yeah, that if you play the home crowd cheering for an opposing walk-off grand slam or something, I mean, you have to be paying really close attention.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird thing to think about. Even if I only mess up once or twice out of 300 pitches a night, that's what's going to be really noticed, and it's going to have some people thinking, oh, why are we even doing this? And that's just kind of the reality of it, of I might accidentally hit the wrong button, which I've kind of been known to do anyway. And it's just, I don't know. That wasn't me.
That was mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a weird thing, but I'm excited to at least try to make it happen. And I've got a bunch of clips from old Ranger broadcasts of, the crowd saying, "Let's go Rangers," clapping along to it. I'm getting I'll have Zonk tonight. I've got the old time mid 90s hot dogs guy. I'm not even going to try to imitate that, but yeah, just all these different sound effects that, in addition to the stuff that MLB gave us, that'll make it sound as much like a Ranger game as possible, or at least I'm going to try to. If not, I'll probably get fired.
Okay, because, I was going to say, I thought MLB provided you with everything, but you get to mix in your own. Where did MLB get all their stuff?
They got it from MLB The Show, the video game, and so that's where you'll hear the bulk of like the big cheers, like you heard, like in the clip you just played, and then like they provided a few different crowd beds, so those will kind of run throughout the whole game. But I can raise and lower the intensity of those depending on what's going on. But then when it comes to cheering for Ranger specific stuff or when Shin-Soo Choo gets announced, I've got, Choo, a drop of that, and just try to make it sound as much like Ranger stuff.
Let me try and think of a nemesis the Rangers have, or let's say, I was trying to think when A-Rod left. Do we have a player who has left that we hate because he left?
Or just the Houston Astros.
I was going to say, just the whole team.
Okay, any Astros. Do we have boos? Are you allowed to play boos?
At the moment, that is discouraged. I think MLB wants us to keep it kind of positive. They haven't provided any booing. They've given us a few groan sound effects, but yeah, I think it's pretty much going to be mostly cheers, and then maybe if a pitcher throws over, a little aw.
Discouraged. So, that always stopped Grubes before.
No, he's been bought. This is terrible. There's no can I stick my tongue down your throat or corporate.
I'm not in the nurturing bubble of the ticket anymore, where I'm fearless.
No, you're in Big Baseball's back pocket.
I know. Now I got to try to make a living. It's awful.
Okay, so you'll be up there. You're the music guy, but we also have heard that they have an organist, and his name is Dustin Tatro.
Yeah.
And he actually joins us right now as well, as we welcome him.
Whoa.
As we pull him up on the computer.
Hey, guys.
Dustin. Hello to you and hello to your organ.
He makes an
That's
intro.
right. I'm actually sitting in my home studio. COVID has changed so much. I'm sitting in my home studio here in Abilene with the actual 1951 Hammond you'll hear at the ballpark. This season, at least.
Wow.
Do you know Grubes? Say hi to Grubes.
Hey, bud. And yeah, we've met a few times.
Dustin.
I think there's a lot in common
He's
that
already
we've
tired
got.
of me.
What is your experience with ballpark and game day entertainment? What's your background coming into this?
Really not much. It's kind of an interesting story. I sang the national anthem at a couple of Midland Rockhounds games. I grew up in West Texas. I'm an Andrews Mustang. And that's about it. The Odessa Jackalopes back before it was that entry-level league, and the Rockhounds, just singing the national anthem. Interesting story. I dropped out of baseball, t-ball, in fact, when I was 6 because I needed to devote more time to practicing the piano. And that's kind of hit me from time to time where it would have gone, but I'm pretty sure that this is the only way I would have made it to the big leagues. Interestingly enough, my t-ball team was the Astros, and the year I was playing for the Astros, my last year in baseball, was the year that Robin Ventura charged the pitching mound at Arlington Stadium. And that probably was the moment that I became a Rangers fan. I've been a fan since as long as I can remember, well back to then. So as the story goes, I have a 20-year background in radio out here in West Texas and have always had a bit of admiration for Chuck Morgan. Probably more of my interest in ballpark entertainment has been the PA announcers. So I've followed Chuck for a long time, and we've been connected on social media. Of course, his intense radio background. What other team can lay claim to having a PA announcer that's a former host on WSM and of the Grand Ole Opry? So I've followed him for a long time. I'm actually the organist at a big downtown church here in Abilene, and he apparently on social media had seen some of the clips and said, I bet if he can do that, he can play the organ for a baseball game. And it was a cold message to me, a Facebook message, in fact, out of the blue back in October that said, I would like for you to redo our organ library. And I thought someone was yanking my chain at first. Someone had hacked into something somewhere. But I sat in a daze here at the house the rest of the day till my wife came home from teaching and said, what's the matter with you? I said, I think Chuck Morgan just asked me to be the organist for the Rangers. I put that on the back burner until after the first of the year, and he called and said, no, we're serious. So I pulled this old Hammond out of storage and rebuilt it in 2 weeks, and as they say, the rest is history.
Okay, so I guess I hadn't noticed an organ there in the last couple days. Have you been there?
It's well, we had already planned at the very beginning. We're making some adjustments and trying to resume a tradition that we haven't had for 20 years. Marcia Rogers was actually the last official organist of the Rangers, and I believe she left in May of '01. And so since then, it's just been
when are you going
a variety of sources recorded. I hope to get to come to games once they start easing some of the MLB restrictions on staff. And as if I had to, I would come up there and stand in the corner just to be there. I've been to the ballpark twice. The most recent was back on June the 11th when I got to hear some of the tracks in person for the first time. And I'll tell you, that made me have to sit down. It was moving, very moving.
So will you will you guys work together, you and Grubes? You will have to not play over him.
He is handling all of that right now through his software. I'm basically, to quote Lane Staley, I'm the man in the box this season. And there's a lot of interest from a lot of places, a lot of fans, several of the staff at the ballpark, myself, that are very interested in bringing back a live organist to the ballpark. And if that ever happens, I will be that person. But we're waiting on some last-minute approvals and COVID turning everything upside down. So he's me right now. I'm recording and producing everything here with Nolan the Hammond, and that's going on to the cloud in multiple places. So he can have access to something I do within seconds.
Okay, so Grubes, you will ask Dustin for some stuff, and you'll be able to play it. Is that how it's going?
For this season, yeah. He'd be able to record anything that I can think of and Dropbox it to me and have it to me within a few seconds. But, dude, he's already recorded like 600 tracks for me. So Dustin's a machine, man.
There's about 700.
Did you get Chacarone on the organ?
I don't have that one
yet.
Chacarone?
Not yet, but
the old,
okay, well, spitballing.
I've got a software on my iPad where I can pull stuff up. And you were talking about perhaps some stuff relevant to other teams that are our opponents. Yes, we're trying to be tactful, but look forward for another series in the future. You might get this. I'm sure you recognize that one. A little hinder, Lips of an Angel for the Los Angeles Angels, perhaps.
Ah.
The Angels.
So we're trying to be tactful, but we've got stuff in there.
Yeah, I knew it. Jay, I just wanted to see if Jake did. And he kind of
I was waiting on Grubes.
Yeah, well, he clearly didn't know.
Here's another one people might know.
I clearly knew.
A little Texas, maybe. And here's a cool one.
I totally knew what that was.
If you've been around for about...
I was waiting for Jake.
If you've been around since we went to the World Series twice, and I'm not going to get too far into that, this kind of made a resurrection. And looking around for old Rangers music traditions, I kind of found this. And a guy named Bucky Nance, who's actually going to be coaching this year sometime, football, brought this to my attention. Apparently, it made a bit of a resurgence during those playoff seasons on radio. You might know this one. I had to pull it out, transcribe it off of YouTube myself, and create my own lead sheet for it.
You know this one?
Yeah, it's an old classic.
Heard it a million times. Grubes, you know that.
Everybody sing along.
Grubes dancing with it.
And then you have the
Texas Rangers.
the other ending.
Oh. Another one?
So that hasn't probably hasn't been heard at the ballpark in a very long time, and not by organ.
No.
But you're bringing it back.
Too long.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We look
Wait, you're
forward
gonna go now?
to checking out your.
I was going to tell. I wanted to tell people how they can get requests and suggestions to me.
Okay, yeah.
So if you're adventurous enough to look forward at future home series and at rosters, or just have a request you want to hear, we've gotten a lot of those already. I'm on social media, Twitter at TEXOrganGuy. That kind of goes along Chuck's Tex PA man. TEXOrganGuy. Just send me a tweet and we'll get that in there. Anything you want. If it's too tacky, it's probably not going to make it all the way to game day. But we'd love to hear from them.
Okay, great. We'll get that handle out there and send Dustin your request. Thank you, Grubes. Thank you, Dustin.
Let's
we'll
take calls.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
We're not going to carry this over.
And there he goes.
Yes.
Dustin the organist. Up next, let's review Rookie of the Year.
Charge! Yes.
This is Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310, The Ticket. Broadcasting live from the TXU Energy Mothership, KTCK AM Dallas Fort Worth, KTCK FM Flower Mound. As training